Welcome back to the fort. We're ready to pick up with Dragon Master's Power of the Fire Dragon. This has been a really exciting book. Chapter 13, The Queen's Surprise. The Dragon Masters, wizards, and dragons appeared in the courtyard of Queen Rose's castle. Drake's eyes got wide as he took in the amazing sight. King Roland and Queen Rose sat at a head table. People from the kingdom of Arkwood sat at other tables, all piled high with food. Everyone gasped at the sight of the dragons. Then they began to clap and cheer. "How wonderful!" Queen Rose cried as she stood up. "You tricked us, King Roland. I thought your dragons had left us, but that was just part of the surprise. They have returned with two new dragons." King Roland coughed. "Yes, that is exactly what I planned," he said. "Griffith, why don't you introduce our new dragons?" Griffith stepped forward. "This is Worm," he said, pointing to the brown dragon. "Worm may not look strong, but his mind is powerful. He is the one who transported us from Bracken to here, all in the blink of an eye." Everyone clapped. Drake could hear the crowd whispering. "And this is Vulcan," Griffith said, pointing to Rory. "Show us what Vulcan can do." Safely. Rory nodded. "I can do that," she said, but her voice was shaking. Drake guessed she was nervous that Vulcan might not listen. Suddenly her dragonstone began to glow. Rory closed her eyes. "I can hear Vulcan's voice in my head," she cried, smiling. "It's happening. We're finally connecting." Vulcan slowly stepped into the center of the courtyard. A thin flame streamed from his nostrils. One by one he lit up the candlesticks on each table. Queen Rose clapped. "Wonderful! You are lucky to have such amazing dragons, King Roland. Thank you for sharing them with us today." King Roland smiled. "They are amazing," he said proudly. The dragon masters looked at one another and smiled. "Now everyone knows how special you are," Drake told Worm, and his dragon smiled. Chapter 14. A New Dragon? The next afternoon the dragon masters went to the Valley of Clouds for flying practice. Before they could begin, King Roland marched in with his guards. "I must have a word with you all," he said in his gruff voice. "Oh no," Drake thought. "Is the king mad about us bringing Worm and Vulcan to see the queen? But he seemed so happy with us last night." "Griffith has told me of a great battle that happened yesterday," the king said. "A battle against a dark wizard and a four-headed beast." "It wasn't a beast," Rory piped up. "That dragon didn't do anything wrong. The wizard made it attack us." "Still, it was very brave of you all," the king said, "and I am grateful." Drake could not believe his ears. "Is this really happening? Is the king thanking us?" "Tonight, I am throwing a big feast in your honor," King Roland went on. "Drake and Rory, I understand you have family in our kingdom. They will all be invited." "Yay!" Drake and Rory cheered. "I may even invite Queen Rose," the king added. His cheeks got just a little red, and he coughed, "since she is very fond of dragons." He turned to Griffith. "And you may invite that little round fellow who comes around." "Thank you, your majesty," Griffith said. "Diego will be pleased." "Yes, thank you," the dragon master said. The king left and everyone started talking at once. "A feast!" cried Beau. "I'll get to see my mom," Drake cried. "And my dad," added Rory. Suddenly, Beau pointed up to the sky. "What is that?" The Hydra was flying across the forest on the other side of the valley. The four-headed dragon swooped down and landed nearby. "Oh, she looks so sad," Anna said. "Anna is right," Griffith said. "Come, Let us see if the Hydra needs our help." Together they slowly approached the dragon. Worm slithered ahead of everyone. He stood in front of the Hydra for a moment. Then Drake heard Worm's voice in his head. "She is far from home," he said, "but her home is not safe. She would like to stay here." "Worm said she needs to stay with us," Drake told everyone. "Where she's from just isn't safe." "Worm told you all of that?" Griffith asked. Drake nodded. "Yes, I knew that Worm could talk to other dragons, but this is the first time he shared their thoughts with me." "So, can the Hydra stay?" Rory asked. "Well, of course," Griffith said. "We will give her a cave of her very own." The Hydra slowly raised her four necks and stared at the dragon masters. Her eyes were a pretty yellow color. Anna approached her and gently stroked her neck. "I wonder what her name is," Anna asked. Griffith smiled. "That will be for her new dragon master to choose." "A new dragon master? Really?" said Drake. "Yes," Griffith said. "The Dragonstone will choose one for us soon." "I wonder who it will be," Bo asked. Drake smiled. "I can't wait to find out." Wow, this was a great book. I can't wait for the next one. Can you? All right, well, join me again tomorrow evening and we will see what the brand new next book is as the story continues.